you ever caught yourselves staring at your phone, scrolling endlessly, and then suddenly realizing, wait, what was I even looking for in the first place? I had that moment a few months ago. I opened Instagram to check a friend's post, and 40 minutes later, I remember I was watching an AI-generated version of Harry Potter characters, but as Bollywood stars. And I remember laughing, but then immediately thinking, why did I just spend 40 minutes being pulled through a maze of videos that I never even chose to look at? That feeling that my attention and even my curiosity had been quietly hijacked stuck with me. And here's the thing, I'm not alone on this. Globally, people spend over 6 hours a day on digital media, and for Gen Z, that number jumps to nearly 9 hours daily. That means we spend more time scrolling on our devices rather than talking face to face or even sleeping. If the media shaping our thoughts is no longer human, what does that mean for the way we think, feel, and even make sense of the world? Somewhere between human creativity and machine intelligence, there is a quiet shift happening, and most of us don't even notice it. In psychology, one of the most fascinating truths is that the human brain is wired to detect patterns, sometimes even where none exist. It gives us stories, images, or even random noise, and we'll impose meaning on it. Now, combine that with AI, a system that doesn't just tell stories, but tailors them specifically for you. Algorithms learn what makes us laugh, what moves us, and even what keeps us watching. So it's not just your For You page. AI has gotten surprisingly good at understanding us. Netflix openly admits that their algorithms can predict up to 80% accuracy, whether you'll finish a show before you even start it. Spotify curates playlists so effectively that people, when they discover new songs, they feel like they've always known them. And TikTok, a 2021 Wall Street Journal investigation shows that the app could identify your deepest interest in as little as 40 minutes of scrolling. 40 minutes, and the machine knows what excites you, what scares you, and even what insecurities to feed on. That's powerful, but here's the danger. Psychology also teaches us about confirmation bias. It is the tendency to search for or interpret information in such a way that confirms what we already believe is true. AI doesn't just lean into that bias, it creates an entire personalized reality around it. Consider this example. If I search up climate change, I would likely see peer-reviewed research or even news articles. But on the other hand, someone else might see misinformation or conspiracy theories or even denial. Both of us will walk away more convinced we're right, because our digital realities are custom built to reinforce us. This isn't just bias anymore. Philosophers like John Baudrillard call this hyperreality, a condition where simulation and reality merge so seamlessly that we can no longer tell them apart. It's not a distant theory anymore. When AI-generated videos of celebrities saying things or doing things that they never did before go viral, or when virtual influencers gain millions of followers despite never existing, we start accepting that simulation as part of our lived experience. And sometimes that isn't theoretical, it's dangerous. AI tools like chatbots such as Character AI, Replica, or even study apps learn from our interactions to tailor experiences and predict engagement. I noticed this firsthand with an AI learning app that I used, which tracked my focus, suggested optimal quiz timings, scheduled breaks, and highlighted topics I struggled with. Within a day, it had subtly shaped my attention, productivity, and daily habits. But the impact of AI-generated media isn't just cultural, it's neurological. Scientists at Caltech and Dartmouth have found that constant novelty from social media reshapes the dopamine loops in our brains. TikTok is basically a slot machine for your attention. That unpredictability, the next video, the next swipe, it hooks us. And over time, it reduces our ability to engage in deep, focused thought. In fact, a 2019 Microsoft study showed that the average human attention span was reduced to 8 seconds from 12 in the year 2000. 8 seconds. That is shorter than a goldfish. So we have to ask, if our thoughts are being nudged by machines designed to optimize engagement, how much of our thinking is truly ours? Now, before I sound too apocalyptic, let me balance this. AI has democratized creativity in ways that are genuinely inspiring. A 12-year-old today could create professional-level artwork using DALL-E or create a video game character without ever learning code. Entire communities of disabled artists are finding ways to express themselves through AI tools that bypass physical limitations. That is not dystopian, that is empowering. While struggle can inspire creativity, it can also be born through curiosity and collaboration. In 2023, researchers at the Royal College of Art introduced AIDA, an AI-assisted design tool that transformed designers' sketches into fashionable concepts, illustrating how creativity can flourish through human and machine partnership. From drafts that fail, from the hours of tinkering and experimenting, from learning through our frustrations, if we outsource that to a machine, are we still exercising our imaginative muscles, or are we at risk of becoming curators of machine creativity rather than being creators ourselves? It reminds me of the Greek myth of Prometheus. Prometheus stole fire from the gods and gave it to humans. Fire was powerful. It could cook food, build civilizations, but it could also burn and destroy. AI feels like that new fire. It can illuminate, but it can also consume. And as AI becomes more sophisticated, it could generate personalized films, music, or even social interactions tailored just for us, making it both illuminating and unnervingly persuasive. So what do we do? Well, part of the answer is awareness. Studies at MIT found that false news travels 6 times more faster than the actual truth on platforms like Twitter. That tells us that we cannot just be passive consumers of AI-shaped content. We need to pause, to question, and to double-check. Think of it as the new literacy of the 21st century. Not just reading and writing, but learning to filter, to verify, and resist being nudged. And part of the answer is intentionality. I'll admit that I've started asking myself a little question at the end of each day. How many of the thoughts that I had today were truly mine? And sometimes the answer is humbling, because it is not many. But even the act of asking reminds me to reclaim that authorship. And maybe that's what this moment is really about. Because AI is not going to go away. It will continue to generate, to evolve, and to shape. The question is whether we let it quietly erode our thinking, or whether we use it as a mirror to better understand our own minds. That brief experience, that 40 minutes that I spent watching Harry Potter characters dancing in Bollywood musicals, at the time I laughed. But later I realized that if AI can hold my attention that easily, maybe it's time I take responsibility for what I give it. And here's the hopeful part. We can always choose. AI might be writing scripts, composing music, even generating human-like conversation, but it cannot choose what matters to us. It cannot define meaning for us. That is still ours. So the next time you catch yourself scrolling endlessly, I want you to pause for a second and ask yourself, did I choose this thought or did the algorithm choose it for me? And if you're anything like me, you might smile a little, nod your head, and scroll anyway. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. And maybe the first step isn't perfect discipline, but awareness. Because in the end, the fine line isn't just between human and machine. It is between being shaped and shaping ourselves. And the future of human thought, that depends on how often we remember to cross back over that line. Thank you.